Hey folks, welcome back to Triple A Farms. James here. So, semi-shift in different gears here. For those that don't know, which we haven't really covered on the channel at all, my wife is a very big plant person. She has plants kind of everywhere. We got this little tree looking thing, that's a blueberry bush. She has a table back here full of flowers. And she also has this stuff out here, and our house is starting to look like a jungle. So she very big into plants, and one of her lifelong dreams has always been to own a greenhouse. So we're gonna be putting up a greenhouse for her today. This is something that we bought off Amazon. I think it's like 160 bucks or something like that. It's 10 foot by 30 foot. I'll throw a link down in the comments or the description of the video for this exact one. Don't know how well this thing's gonna do. Don't know the quality of it or anything. It's got good reviews on Amazon. Her grandmother had actually bought a different greenhouse off Amazon, and that's kind of why we went this route. She bought a different one that her grandmother's had for years, and it works really, really well. So she wanted to get one off of there and see how it turned out. And so we're gonna throw this together for her. I waited until later in the evening to do it because it's 92 degrees out, but due to the position of the sun and where we're putting this thing, the house is right here. So we're going to be able to stay in the shade mostly. So the plan is for it to go right here. This is where the gooseneck used to be parked. It's now parked down there. So the plan is to get this thrown together for her, put down, hopefully stake it down somehow, and then she'll have her little greenhouse right here next to the house. Does a couple things. We got the shed right there, so that shed should block most of the wind coming this way. Got the house here that blocks most of it coming from this way. We're actually going to be moving the boat. Probably do that tomorrow maybe. But we're going to move the boat, clean up everything underneath the boat. Basically give her room. This thing, you can open up the side and like prop it up as a canopy during summer. So she wants to be able to do that. So we're going to move the boat further over as well. As far as the wind coming this way, y'all can see the tree line's not that far away. So hopefully it won't be that bad. And it's hard to tell, but there is a slight hill here, that being the higher point, and it coming down to us as a slope. It's not gonna protect it from the wind completely, but hopefully it'll keep the wind from getting under it. That's my biggest concern with this thing is, or really anything on our property, is the wind blowing it. Right now we have a really nice low breeze, but it can get pretty high winds, because I mean, it's a quarter of a mile that way of nothing but open space, and going back that way, that back tree line of the property is 3/4 of a mile away. So it's just a big 1 mile long strip of nothing to block the wind. So, but hopefully with the shed being there and the house being there, it won't be that big of a deal. Let's get this thing open and see how bad it's going to be to put together. All right, I got everything unpacked. So we got our tarp, and I separated it into multiple piles of the different types of, I guess, poles. And then there's a lot left in here. I think all these are the same, not sure. And then we got a couple pieces. We got all of our bolts. It comes with the tools you need, and then it comes with the directions. It doesn't come with a chicken though. No chickens. All right, so that's what our directions look like. So not the best in the world. I mean, it's just straight up diagram. So I'll have to follow it through and hopefully put this thing together right the first time. He's gonna make sure though. He's here to help. He's come to check us out. They are too. All right, let's get to putting this thing together. All right guys, we're done with the first part. It wasn't too bad to put together. This is the bottom level. This is the bottom level. About to start on the second portion of it and go from there. Alright guys, so this is basically after you're done with the second page. The only difference is I got that pipe, that pipe, that pipe, and that pipe on there, and that was kind of rigided up a little bit. The sides were wanting to lay out on both sides, so I did that just to make it a little bit easier to video real quick. Plus that way the kids they were out here holding it up for me, but it's getting kind of dark and the mosquitoes are starting to get out. Not really bad. For around here, probably pretty bad, but I actually grew up in Tangier Parish, and the mosquitoes down there are bad in my opinion. But this is where we're at. I got everything laid out. All I got to do is look at the bolt pattern now and see what bolts we need where and piece all this together. And then only thing left is to put the tarp on. So, which I don't know if the tarp's going to happen tonight. It might be a tomorrow morning thing, but we're definitely going to get this done. I don't want to leave this out here like this. So, all right, guys, we're going to call it a night. Kind of getting too dark. All that's left to do, I gotta go through and tighten all the bolts. I got all the bolts just hand tight right now. Go through, tighten them all out, and square it up some, because you can kind of tell there it ain't square. This side I think looks relatively straight. Yeah, this side looks pretty good. It's pretty nice. I'm 6'5". I can walk down the center without ducking. It's kind of nerve-wracking because I can see my scalp getting cut by the bolt there. But as soon as I get kind of towards the sides, I'm gonna have to start ducking. Different though. I'm 6'5". This is really for my wife. She's 5'2", so she has plenty of space in here. And obviously the plants are gonna be on the side anyway. That's gonna be the lower side. So all in all, the putting it together wasn't bad. It recommends a minimum of 3 people to put it together. Me and my 2 boys did it. My boys are 6 and 7, about to be 8. So the main part is just once you get the sides done, they tend to tilt out, and they just had to hold it straight until I was able to get the front and center piece done. So all in all, it looks pretty good. I'm using my Bauer bit driver to tighten everything to make it go a little bit faster. You gotta be cautious using it because it will crush these pipes. So if you do use a bit driver, just be careful. Other thing we got to do still, so we got to tighten everything. Then there's these little black caps that go into this to keep things from going in there. And then they came with kind of crappy stakes, I guess. It came with some kind of like tent stakes is what it looked like. We're gonna get some of the like auger bit looking ones that we can dig into the ground, and we're gonna put them on the inside and tie them off to the post or the metal here. That way we don't have to worry about hitting them when we mow or weed eat and all that, and it's on the inside, and those little auger stakes are gonna hold it really good. There's also some big like staple post or big staple stakes you can do that we have on our trampoline, and basically it would go around the post and you just drive it in the ground. Really high winds and our trampolines never went anywhere because we have 4 auger bit style stakes holding it in, and we have 2 of those staple stakes on every leg, and it's never gone anywhere, even with a hurricane coming through. So we will pick this up in the morning. Y'all have a good night. All right, folks, it's the following morning. Y'all can kind of see where we're at a little bit better. You can kind of tell how that one's curved a little bit, so we need to straighten it out. Then we got to go through and I think this one's tight, but starting on that next row there, I got to tighten all the bolts up. They're just hand tight right now. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And then all that's left is to put the tarp on it and anchor it down. Okay, we got everything tightened in. We got these little black caps put on the end right here. Major thing of note, these door arms here on both sides go behind the pipe. The first diagram where you actually put those on, it looks like it goes in the front, and then when you get further along to this portion of it, you can clearly tell it goes in the back. So just keep that in mind if you buy this. Oh no, not awful build quality. I think it's perfectly fine for a greenhouse. We're definitely gonna have to stake this up pretty good because it ain't heavy at all. The pipes really ain't super thick, which you can see. You can see how thin that is. But it's gonna do what we need it to do. I'm about to throw the tarp on, and then probably throw some of these stakes that came with it, just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere until we can get good stakes. Go from there. All right, folks, here we are. So, a few things left to do. That ain't gonna happen today, probably. there's some stakes. Well, this is probably gonna happen. There's some stakes that come with it, kind of cruddy stakes that hook onto the canvas there and come down. Probably gonna do that for the time being, just to keep the wind from blowing it away. Until we can get the better stakes, which the better stakes we're going to put on the inside and tie them off to the poles, versus this here. It's tied off to the pole on the inside, but this is where the stake hooks to. So probably do that for the time being, just to keep it from flying away. All in all, not too bad. Couple negatives. There's a little sharp edges when you put this around. And I say sharp, they're not super sharp, but just the way those brackets are, as I was pulling, I did cut a couple little bitty holes in it. Not too big of a deal. You can definitely tell it's working, because it's so humid in here. So, but we got this put up. There's these little windows on the side that I ain't got open. I got both doors rolled up, which I'm probably gonna put them down here in a second. And the idea is to hopefully keep the wind from going in and picking it up. Or I might leave it as is. The wind ain't blowing too hard today. I got a couple things there's a little ledge that goes around the bottom, so you can put dirt or sandbags or stones. I think my wife's wanting to do stones to make it look pretty. We don't have any right now, but I do have a couple little concrete waivers that I can put around it, and some sandbags just for the time being. All in all though, turned out pretty good. Really ain't much else to say about it, I guess. The little roll-up doors work pretty well. Everything zips. You can kind of see the wind. Just with a little bit of wind we got now, it's blowing this thing around. Just the tarp, not the frame. But, turned out pretty good. I'll give you a little bit of an idea. I'm 6'5" and I can stand straight up. One thing I think I would have to worry about is possibly hitting my head on the little bolts hanging down. Which, if you really want it to, you can come through and trim those flush. I'm not too worried about it. But all in all, plenty of room. It's so this one's 10 foot wide, 30 foot long, to 300 square feet. I'm going to put the link to this one in the description below. If you don't want one this big, they do have smaller ones as well. Putting together wasn't bad. It recommends 3 people. We ended up having to use 3 people, but the 3 people were me and my 2 small children. One's 6 and the other one's about to turn 8. Basically, the only time they really had to do anything is once you started doing the sides here, it tended to lay out. So I just had them hold it up until I could get this center portion done. As soon as you got that put together, it was a one-person job. Putting on the canvas might have been easier with a second adult. I mean, it wasn't really that bad of an install. I started yesterday around 4. I think called it around 8:30, and then I've been out here for probably about an hour and a half. So it took about 6 hours to put this up. A lot of it's just trying to figure out the different posts. The posts did come with little stickers on them, but a lot of them, the stickers are damaged where you can't tell what it is, or the stickers are gone. So you got to take one that does have a sticker and compare it and make sure you're using the right parts. The cool part though, they do mirror image each other, so whatever you use on this side you need on this side, and you can just lay them all out, and then you put it together with the bolts. And then I came back through with my Bauer bit driver and it's tightened everything. If you're going to use a bit driver, be a little bit careful because you can bend these pipes. I don't know if y'all can tell how bad I'm sweating. It's pretty humid in here. This thing is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Every now and then you feel a good little breeze come through and it feels really nice. So my wife will be home tonight. She saw me starting to put it together earlier or last night. So I think she's seen the outer frame so far, but she hasn't seen it with the tarp. So hopefully she likes it, because this is really for her. And she'll have this thing slapped full of plants. She plans on getting a bunch of where we work, where I work, and where she works, we can get pallets. And she plans on taking a bunch of those pallets and making shelves for plants and all that stuff. Only negative thing I noticed so far about this I didn't care for, the tarp ties down in 6 spots on each corner, and then 2 spots on each door frame, so 2 on this side, 2 on that side. So it's at 6, 10. So 10 tie down points, but it's on this wall and on this back wall. There is no other tie down points whatsoever on this thing. It would have been nice if there had been just a couple more, just where I could tie it on that or that down there. You know, just every other one at least to hold it a little bit better. But once you put all the weight on the little ledge at the bottom, probably not that big of a deal. So, alright, that's going to be it for this video. When my wife starts loading this thing up with plants, I'll do another little video to show them what she does with it. And so y'all can see what she does with it, I guess. Thank y'all for joining me on the farm today. A little bit different pace. So far, overall I'm pretty impressed with this little thing. I think it's like $160 before tax. Didn't take very long to get to us, and took what I think I said about 6.5 hours to put up, roughly. Something like that, 6 hours. Hopefully we get some use out of it. Her grandmother's, it's a different one, but her grandmother's lasted, it's an Amazon one too, it's just a different brand. She's had it for probably 3 to 4 years now, and it's still rocking and rolling. So hopefully we can do the same thing and go from there. Anyway, thank you for joining me on the farm today. Y'all have a good one. See y'all next time.